We are live again, me and my friend.
Man,
We
it feels
live
so good
again. Oh my
to
gosh.
be back. I
We
used to
got a
pray
lot of
for
good
times like
feedback.
this to rhyme
So I'm
like
like
this. So
this,
I
so
had
I
to,
had to go
come on
live
now.
like this, unfazed like this in the
So you
matter of
had to,
time. Oh.
come on now.
But you know, we
That was
back
with
at it
you.
again. Unfazed podcast, the number one motortainment podcast in the world. We got no one only but Phase and Real Deal McNeal back
I
at it
like
again. Make sure
that.
you
I like
guys
that.
like, comment, subscribe, repost. Brought to you by Blaze Pizza. We have a great conversation today. The conversation was so good that we had to do it live.
It feels good.
We had to do it live on YouTube. Live on YouTube, man. We're gonna do a lot of things coming up live on YouTube here, but one thing we're gonna talk about today is a very topic that is close to my heart, and I know it's close to your heart as well. We talk about it a lot, but I don't think we zoned in on it enough. So today we're just zoning in on fear and failure, because I think there's a lot of
Ooh.
misconceptions. Tell me if I'm wrong. A lot of
Hey
misconceptions about fear and
man,
failure,
that's a good
specifically
topic right
failure.
there. I can't even lie. That's a real good topic. It allows y'all to see, more a deeper connection from one of us. So, or from both of us, I mean. So, it's definitely, it could get there.
Uh
It could touch there,
oh.
but ultimately, we want to start, hitting more than obviously you guys always see the positive, the love, and the energy, and we're gonna still give you that. But at the same time, we want to make sure we're making those personal connections at the same time. So I'm geeked. I'm eager for the conversation. This is something we had talked about slightly previous, but we didn't really want to get too into it because we want to save it for y'all, man. We want y'all to be a part of this chat, So
And I think this one hits very close to home right now because I did, like for the people that know that don't know, I did recently, I got waived from the UFL team that I got signed back to
come on now.
just about a month ago. You know what I mean? So going into that space and understanding that like this is pro ball, like this is that next level when people are moving state to state and having to uproot their lives and uproot their families. I didn't have to do that, but I got a taste of that. I got a taste of how that feels. I got a taste of what it means to be a pro, constantly getting evaluated each and every day, having to leave, maybe not because you're not the best right now, but maybe just because they needed something else in that time, or because it didn't fit the scenario, or maybe you just didn't show them what you need to show them. So
Man, at the
dealing with
end
that
of the
right
day,
now,
though, it's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's all a
and
blessing.
that's the beautiful thing about this conversation we want to have. I ain't mean to jump in there like that on you,
No,
but
yeah, yeah.
we gonna talk about not only the obviously the tough aspects of the fear of getting failure and the fear of you know stepping out there on the risk or on the ledge, but also what failure and those risks can do for you in a positive manner in the future.
Doggo. That's like that's some fear right there. I hear some fear in the house right now. But I think one of the things I wanted to talk about is like so me getting cut from the UFL and going through that experience. Um, I know it's tough because in life I feel like there's been more times than not where I've been in positions like this and I have felt like a failure because of course the goal for us, like we talk about all the time, is to get to the NFL, is to be on the newspaper, to buy mama the house, go back to the hometown, give money, whatever it is. That's the goal. And not getting there, a lot of times we feel like failures. And a lot of
Yeah,
times in
yeah.
achieving that goal, you fail. But
Nah, most
the
definitely.
thing I want people to think about is that failure is not always a bad failure is not a bad thing.
Failure is imminent at the end of the day. It's going to happen. Whether you try to avoid it or you try to steer away from it, failure is going to happen at some point in your life. And what we're trying to get y'all to understand with this conversation, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like how the biggest thing is how do you respond to failure? How do you bounce back from failure? What does failure do for you? How does it change you, your perspective? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, you may be in a position where you take this risk and you step out there and you put yourself in a position to want to succeed, but then we never ask ourselves what happens if we don't make it. We might think about the what if.
Yes.
We might think about the, man, the depression, the doubt, whatever the case may be that comes with it. But we never sit back and ask ourselves, what's the alternative? So it's
And
definitely gonna be good to have an insight. But I would like to hear, what
exactly.
I'm saying. I like
Yeah.
you, pop it off. You know what I'm saying. First and foremost, both our situations, as they all know, were or and are similar. I'm still in pursuit of happiness when it comes to the sports endeavors, but at the same time, you know, your situation is recent, it's current, and what was your emotional feelings behind that? That I would love to kind of see what your mindset, what your process was like. Was there fear involved in knowing, hey, I got cut once before, now I got to go back, and
Hmm.
now I'm back. I'm at practice. Are you fearful in practice? Like today could be the day. What does that
Hmm.
look like for you?
I think there's often times, and it's crazy because even when I get on the field every single day, if I ever mess up, even it could be the smallest mistake, if I'm not showing the right attitude in my mind, it's always, hey, yeah, I may get cut because of that. Or I could get cut because of that. So every day on that field, I'm not gonna say I thought about that all the time, but there was days in my mind where it's like, okay, I make a couple mistakes because I don't know. Like this is my first high pro level experience. Like this is the G League to the NFL. So I'm here and I've heard the stories about the NFL, but I don't really know much about here. But every day I'm thinking it's the NFL to me. So every day I'm on that field and I make a mistake, I do something wrong. I'm like, hey, yeah. I could get cut right now for this. Something could happen, but that's a terrible way to think. And I think for myself specifically, I told myself that's a terrible way to think. And I started to play free. Once I start getting over the fact that, hey, yeah, I'm gonna mess up. It's okay as long as you do it. What coaches say, you can mess up, but do it full speed.
Come on
So
now.
that's what I began to do. I stopped putting so much pressure on myself, and I was like, okay, this is just football. This is what I've been
Yeah,
doing. This is what I've been doing at a high level. So there was a lot of emotion behind it. When I did get cut, you can look back and like, dang, if I would have, man, not messed up this player, if I would have stayed a little, no, but I put my best foot forward. I did what I had to do, and I'm gonna get an offer to play back on that team next year. So looking back at it, it hurts because you want to play, you want to go out there, show them, prove to yourself, prove to the family, prove to the NFL scouts that I am the best receiver in that league, right? But it just
most
wasn't the
definitely,
time. You know what I mean? And
most
failure
definitely,
is good. If you're not failing, you're doing something wrong. So all the people in anything, not even sports, if you're not failing, you're doing something wrong. That means you're living comfortably.
most
You
definitely.
need to live uncomfortable to grow.
I think for me, to hit on a more emotional tip, like I'm gonna say it like this. For me, it hits more home than the internalized fear. The internalized fear and failure of not really knowing what the end result is. I think for me, the fear to fail started earlier for me. Like I want to say like high school, maybe freshman sophomore year, when I started to embark on the journey of really getting closer and closer to the next steps of pro level football or college football, collegiate football. It always was, what are people going to think of me if I don't make it? You know what I'm saying? What
Mm,
what are people, how am I going to feel like if I don't get to that level? I have people in my corner, you have the supporters that are like, I don't want to let them down if I don't make it, but then you also have the naysayers that I want to prove wrong, but it's like, what if they're right? You know, I think the biggest thing for me is, for me, fear was a big thing just because, or fear of failure, I should say, is a big thing because it's like at the end of the day, you never know. You try to keep the faith, but then when things aren't going your way and things seem like it's one thing after another, and you're like, dang, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. By the time you actually realize that you may not make it, or the journey may not go how you anticipated it to go, you never thought of it like that. Like I don't think I think although I was afraid to fail, I never thought about like what if I fail, And then when it started seeming like, hey, okay, so I go to college. I don't go to the D1. That was the first step. I didn't go D1, so now it's like, dang, I failed myself. I let myself down. But in that failure, I did have an opportunity to at least go and play right away, build my film up, show what I was capable of doing. Then I did get an opportunity to play D1. Then I got cut from the D1. So then it was like, okay, at endless points in time in life, I'm experiencing failure after failure. Then I graduate college. I don't go straight to the league. Now, year after year, clock is ticking, clock is ticking, and we're getting closer and closer to the point where it's like, dang, I might have failed myself. Now it's kind of like, okay, how do I respond to this?
mm,
Now, how do I approach this in a different light? And I stopped looking at it as failure. I think that was the biggest thing
yeah.
that helped me. I stopped looking at it like, because in order to fail, like so for me now, in order to fail, life is over. Like as long as I can still have breath in my lungs, motivation. I mean, excuse me, movement in my limbs. I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah,
failed myself yet. So
yeah.
it's about the mindset in which you have regarding failure. Don't get me wrong, I am still, I would say afraid to let myself down or disappoint those who have high hopes for me. But it's a different perspective on it now, for sure, for sure. I'm
Yeah,
getting
it's
to your
crazy
point.
because a lot of you hit on that, like a lot of things I feel like the hardest part, I feel like for me in getting cut or like any failure in
Mhm.
life, a lot of it isn't the actual getting cut or the failure. A lot of it's like, dang, like, what are these people gonna think about me? That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Like, hey, like, what is my mom gonna say? Or what is like all these people gonna say? Oh, you got cut again? You wasn't good enough. Or you even when I had to go back to
What I'm
Tulsa
saying.
after getting cut, you know what I mean? It's the same kind of feeling where it's like I'm too worried about everyone else, but it's like this is a part of life. This is a part of the actual journey. And if you're
Hey,
not failing, like I said before, this is the exact time that you need to fail. Especially we're young, we're chasing your dreams, you're living life. If you're too comfortable, you're just living life, you're moving through life, not challenging yourself, not chasing your dreams. This is the time to do that because these failures, all it takes is one time. One time, one yes, all those no's, one door open to change your life, to change your family's life, to create generational wealth and change history. That's all it takes is one time. So I think that's one of the main things that I try to think about when it comes to fear and failure, because at the end of the day, I think that we have to put ourselves in a position where we are uncomfortable and where we are failing and can't let fear take over everything that we put in because we are putting in work. And especially, you notice, like in
I
football, we
like
are
that.
putting in the work every single day. So if we're working every single day, you know what I mean? And we get to the point where it's like, okay, we didn't make it. That doesn't negate all the work that we put in. We still put all the work in. So a lot of times we put ourselves in a position where it's like, hey, we think because we didn't go D1, we failed. No, nigga, you worked your ass off to get to where you needed
Oh,
to
I
be.
like I like
And
the way
that
you
was a
get it, bro.
blessing. And because there's a lot of people that
Real
wanted to
talk.
be where you were at and couldn't make it.
As you know, ultimately, I done said it once. I done said it before. We have it on previous clips. In the great words of Denzel.
Talk to me.
Come on now, fear. I'm even changing it up. I ain't gonna give it to him exactly what I gave him to last time. But ultimately, like I said, fear is inevitable. It's gonna happen,
Hmm.
but you have to fail in order to succeed. If you're
Yeah.
not, like I was saying before, I would never want to be somebody who just wins all the time because
Yes.
then I wouldn't know how to respond when I lose. I don't even know what losing feels like to because losing is valuable. Losing is important. Failing is valuable. It's important because of what it does within yourself. The way it likes to wake up that inner dog. And this is the home of the underdog. Without failure, we would never be who we are. We would never be able
Mm.
to go as hard as we've been going, chase the dream as hard as we've been chasing. Because ultimately, if we just got it, we're gonna burn out quick. Okay, I got that. Boom, that next thing. It's like every time I go, I win or I succeed or I accomplish it. Now it's like, what next? Now your ceiling's not as high. Now you limit yourself, but then you get to a point where you would accomplish everything. Then you fail the first time. Now your world is crumbling down in front of you. You don't know how to react. You don't know how to respond. For me, I think what fear did to me or did for me was allow me to respond to adversity better, learn how to
Mm.
adjust my mental state, learn how to, okay, I didn't get it that time, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna go again. Like for example, first time I would say I failed, or the first time I had fear of failure, at least in the professional realm, is when I came out here for that first CFL tryout.
Hmm.
Y'all know I ain't. Yeah, I mean, as from to y'all's knowledge and to my knowledge, I haven't made it to the CFL yet. But ultimately, it's I had that workout, I had that tryout, and I didn't get signed, or I didn't get the call back. Then I went to the IFL, tryout, and I didn't get on the team the first year I tried out. Then I came back again, didn't get on team. But every time I failed and I fell short, I got a little bit better. I,
Mm.
I worked a little bit harder, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep, what I'm saying, putting one foot in front of the other, and I'm gonna keep persevering because ultimately, although I might get 10 no's, that one yes is the one that matters, and that's the one that can change my reality, and that's the one that can change everything for me. So if I was continuously too afraid to have those failures, I would never be able to be in the position that I am to be that one step closer to making sure that I accomplish what I said I was
and
going to
and you need to see it, bro. Like that's
do.
what a lot of people don't get. Like you have these goals or these dreams, or you see these people on social media, you want to chase these goals and these dreams, you want to have the car, the whip, the this, the girl, the this, whatever it is. But in order to get there, like you have to see it, like you have to tangibly fail in order to increase your odds of ever getting to that goal. So if you like failure is part of the puzzle.
And I feel like it's like I always say, it's beauty in the struggle, but it's also appreciation in your failure. Like
Hmm.
ultimately, because you didn't get it the first time you went after it, because you didn't get it the first time you tried for it. Now you do find you're not gonna let
Yes.
nothing or no one take whatever you set yourself out to get in your comments take that from you.
Hallelujah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Hallelujah.
and that's how you get look, it's gonna hit you in your spirit.
Look, in the wise words of Bruce Lee, this is a quote. He
Oh, I
said,
like this one.
not failure, but low aim is the crime. Look, let me say that again. I don't think they heard it. E.
Ooh, that's already speaking to me in a way.
Yeah,
Ooh,
not failure, but low aim is the crime. In great attempts, it is glorious even to fail.
I just want to hit one part that I heard in that.
Say
Let's
it.
focus on that low aim
Hmm.
because there's also that fear of failure that sets in on people where now you don't set the bar as high. Now your expectations are lower. Now you not going. You almost psych yourself out like I'm not gonna get that. I'm not even gonna try to go for that. That's that low
I
aim.
don't know
You're
what
not
movie it
shooting for the
was.
stars.
It was some movie where he was like, I forgot what it was. He was like, but I set my expectations super low so I don't ever have to deal with failure or embarrassment. Or I
Right.
don't, you know what I mean? And that's a terrible way of thinking. A terrible way of thinking.
On the road to success, there's failures, and in those failures are multiple opportunities and multiple accomplishments. You may have failed at that, but you accomplished one, two, and three things on the way. So, and again, there's a lot of people out there still with that mindset. And if you do have that mindset where I'm not going to set the bar high just because you don't want to be disappointed, because you don't want to, you know, feel bad within yourself because you didn't do it, that's the wrong. You're living the wrong way. Set your expectations high. Set your goals high, and even if you don't get there, continue to push towards them, because ultimately the path will alter itself. Your plan will become what God has for you is for you. Can't nobody change that. Can't nobody take that from you. You know, and ultimately, He knows the plan that He's already set for you. So set your expectations here. He knows the desires of our hearts as well. So if your desire is really to get here and you put everything you got in the tank to get there, you're going to get there. Whether you fail here, fail there, fail there, eventually you're going to get there. So
And if
don't aim low.
if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
So this
fade.
is like
I might get that tatted. Nigga, I got a little space on
you
this
might
side.
you
Trying to get
might
that
have
tatted.
to. You might
That's
have to,
nice. I
but
might say that. Ooh, it gave me chills a little bit.
if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. You know what I mean? And
I
I'm
like that
saying
one.
this to say because even whatever, you have these dreams, you have these goals. A lot of people in our situation, our age, right? Well, my age, you're a little older, but
Like he trying to do me real quick. First of all,
wait,
you a
look.
'90s baby barely too, but at the same time, that's old to some people too. You
Well,
almost big. What is it? What is it? 25? You almost big, bro. You not even YN no more. Almost. You this close.
yeah, I'm out of there.
You this
I'm about to be
close.
big,
I'm
bro. That's
big, bro,
crazy.
right now, but you on your way.
I'm on the way. I'm on the way. But saying that to say, right, because a lot of people and when you think about like the dreams that people have and like being able to attack those dreams, I think like the world that we live in today, right? The economy, everything being so expensive, having the fear, like I could see it. Like I'm saying this to say to all the people that see this, I understand why there's fear. Like I know because you need somewhere to live, you need food, like you got bills to pay, like you ain't trying to move back home with your parents, or you got to help your parents out, whatever it is, I understand. But the thing about it is, we don't know when our expiration date is, and you don't want to get to that point where you expiration date comes and then you're just looking and you have all these regrets or all these what have beens, what ifs, or these could have, would have, should have's, the could have
Facts.
been records, you know what I mean, Drewskis, all like you, all that. Like you don't want to have that. You don't want to live like that. So all the people that you have this goal, you have the dream, but it's so scary because like, man, I might have to empty my savings account to try this Airbnb thing. I might have to move to another state just because that's the only place that I can succeed in this. I might have to really invest in my partner because they have this dream and it's going to, whatever it is, you
You
need
don't want
to.
to be this person. You don't want to be the I could have. You don't want to be the I could have person. You don't
Hmm.
want to be the I could have been in the league. I could have did this. You want to look back on life with no regrets, knowing hey, I gave everything I had, and even if you didn't give everything you have, what are you still giving? Like as long as you're still here, like I said before, what are you still giving in this moment in the now to be make sure that that regrettable sense you may have about this thing doesn't become the way your life is about everything.
Mm,
So, ultimately, we not saying don't be conscious of the risk,
hmm,
but don't be overly cautious. Don't be
hmm.
careless as well. So what I mean by that, let me break it back down. You don't want to be careless to the point where you setting your dreams and your goals just that are unreachable. Yes, I understand I'm getting to a point in life, being 20, I'm gonna say 28, being 27, that the
Hey, hey, you said it
NFL
right.
dreams and
30, 30,
here he go.
38.
First of all, this is a solo clip, it's a solo screen. Let me
Oh, okay, my bad.
no, but like I know I'm getting to the point now where you know the NFL, the goal of that, that window, if it's not closed, it is very narrow, and a small opportunity for me to make it. But at the same time, I'm I'm not going to continuously to be careless about that. Now, how do we wake up? Now, how do we respond to failure? As I was stating before, how do we, set new expectations or adjusted expectations to still accomplish what we're setting out to do? Maybe I don't make it to the league,
Hmm,
but now I got a podcast from everything.
hmm,
Like, for example, a lot of people don't understand on this journey to the league, I've been blessed with so many things. I've been fortunate to obtain a lot of things. For example, I got to meet Phaz in on this course. Me and Phaz have gotten to do something very special here with the podcast, and bringing, informative information to y'all, which has allowed me to go down different endeavors like acting, getting back to music and things of that sort. But had it not been for me getting these no's with football, I would have made. So yes, I did set my expectation in the NFL. I wasn't being careless when I did that. I was being hopeful and I was being dreamful. I think careless would have been like I'm going to go to the league out of high school, and then I didn't make it. Now I'm disappointed. So that's why I say that's what I mean by I say don't set your expectations, to a careless degree where it's just out there. But also be cautious. Understand that okay, in this on this path or on this journey, I may get hit with this, I may get hit with that, but I'm willing to take the risk and I'm willing to take the chance to chase my dreams, knowing that it may not go how I plan. So,
hmm. And
that's basically
and
what I'm getting at.
what I'm gonna say off that, I'm gonna disagree with one part in that, right? I think, and I know exactly what you're saying.
Mhm.
I think you should set the craziest dreams, the most unreachable, unattainable, most impossible that everybody in the world will say, that's crazy, that's stupid, that's impossible. I think you should do that, right? But the problem a lot of times is that we do that, but we don't have a plan of action, right? Like you could dream, okay, I want to be the greatest performer in the world. I want to be better than Michael Jackson. I want to sell more records than Michael Jackson, but you ain't in the studio like Michael Jackson was. You're
Facts.
not writing like Michael Jackson was. You have to have a set plan in place in order to do those things. A lot of people dream, you know what I mean, and don't do anything and take action. You know what I mean? There was this, you remember, I don't know if you remember, it was actually in Pursuit of Happiness, right? It's the
Oh,
joke that Jaden Smith says. He was like, I'm gonna butcher it right now. I'm gonna be mad at myself. But he was like, so there was a
I got
guy,
you.
it was a guy stranded in the middle of the
In the
ocean.
ocean.
And he prayed, God, hey, can you save me? Can you save me? And then he just waited. A boat came. The guy on the boat said, hey, man, hey, you need some help? He's like, no, it's okay. God will save me. The boat went away. Okay. The guy prayed to God. He said, God, please save me. Like, I know you're going to save me. Another boat came, right? Then the guy said, hey, man, you need help. The guy said, no, it's okay. God's going to save me. Then the guy drowns. He dies. Then he gets to heaven. He sees God. He said, God, why didn't you save me? Said, I sent you two boats, dummy. You know what I mean? So that's like what we do in life. We just kind of sit and expect things to happen. We pray and expect God to just bless us with all these things, but we're not putting in the work. We're not planning. We're not putting the actions. Even a conversation me and you had, I'm not going to go into what the conversation was, but a couple of days ago about like where this podcast should go, where we're going to take this podcast to the next level. And we're talking, we're
Y'all
excited. But
don't
what's the
even
main
know.
thing I say? The main thing I say is, okay, what's the next action steps? Okay, what does
I'm
this
like,
look
yeah.
like? We got there and we actually sat down with like, we're gonna plan this out. You know what I mean? Because if there's no action, a lot of people just say stuff, there's no action. You need to
Hmm.
take action. That's the biggest thing I will say. If you don't take anything from this, it's take action on your dream in some way, shape, or form. Take some sort of action.
And like you said, without getting to it, I'm excited. I, you know the conversation, or the topic what you're talking about, that y'all will know one day soon. But you know you're exactly right in what you're talking about when it comes to the, and I'll hit it just with the scripture: faith without works is dead.
Mm,
Ultimately, when you set an expectation, or you set a goal, or you have a dream, you have to work towards that dream. Although you may
you
have
have
faith,
to.
in the Most High, you can't just think it's going to come to you.
You can't.
That scripture is designed that way for a reason, because ultimately He's going to expect you to go out there and chase it. He's going to expect you to go out there and drive and push for it. And again, He knows the desires of our hearts. So I want to make sure I'm saying this scripture right. I want to say it's Proverbs 16:9,
Mm,
that says a man's heart, and it might be 9 or 16, but
hallelujah.
one. But a man's heart might plan his path, but God guides the way. So ultimately,
Mm,
set the plan, but work towards that plan. And no matter what happened, whether you're afraid that it may not work out, or it may be, because again, back to the fear of failure, whether you're afraid, this and third, have faith in the Lord, have
hmm
trust in His plan for you, but work at it, work towards it. And at the end of the day, you will get there somehow, some way. But it might not be, it may not be the way you thought you was gonna get there, but ultimately
hmm
you'll get there. So,
Yeah, and it's not, I want to encourage people as well because it's not like ridiculous. I say take action. It's not like a ridiculous amount of action that has to be taken, right? Like do a little bit every day. Like just start
mhm,
doing research into it. If it's a side hustle or a side activity, something that you enjoy, start by doing a little bit of research into it.
mhm.
Start by having conversations about it. You know what I mean? Start by maybe looking something up, joining a Facebook group, or just finding somebody on Instagram or YouTube videos, whatever it is. Like start small. Like it doesn't have to be anything ridiculous, but it'll be it'll be so sad if you live your life with this thing and then you have kids and it's like, yeah, back in the day I could have done this or
You want to
I
be, look,
would
I
have
told you, you
done
don't want to be the
that.
I could have person.
Especially in times now where it's like we're speaking to everybody. You know what I mean? Our target audience is everybody, but it's like a lot of people our age like don't have any kids yet. You know what I mean? You don't have like the responsibilities
What's
may not
holding you
be
back? What's holding you
there.
back?
You know what I mean? So I think a lot of let's talk about that. Like what holds people back? Because I really want to
Okay,
I want to touch something for somebody here. You know what I mean? Like what's holding me back is the laziness, right? It could be laziness.
facts.
Like if you look at a lot of the time that we spend on social media BSing, like think about that. That time could be used putting it towards that goal or that dream. A lot of times we go out. You know what I mean? Like when we could use that towards the goal, the dream. So at the end of the day, I could sit here and say, "Hey, you're all right." I could say, "Coddle you like a baby." What? Hey, it's gonna be okay. Like you just gotta attack your dreams. But a lot of y'all won't get it because you don't put in the work.
I feel like
A lot
to
of you don't put the up. Like a lot of you don't want it as bad as you say you want it,
I feel
and
like
and that's the truth.
for the laziness aspect, and just to add on that,
Hmm
for me, just because everybody knows laziness is honestly, you know what I'm saying. But why is that laziness? Because I
Yeah.
want to keep the conversation where it's supposed to be when it comes to all of these things. Really lead into one another. I think for me, it's the excuses.
Mm,
Laziness, but also excuses. I've heard a lot of people who I know that are talented, whether it be at singing, whether it be at dancing, acting, model, whatever your talent is, whether it just be walking dogs, whatever your talent is. a lot of people make excuses by what they don't have, by what they can't afford, and it's almost, to me personally, like it sounds like a fear.
Mm,
It sounds like a fear to me because ultimately you're making these excuses on, but you got to think about it. Look at the people who are successful in that. I guarantee you almost 90 to 80% of those people were in the same predicament as you. They didn't have this, they didn't have that, but they just did it. They figured out a way to accomplish it. They figured out a way to just do it because they put the work and they put that effort, like you're
yes.
saying, into it. So I hear a lot of excuses, or I can't, I don't have this mic, I don't have this camera, I don't have this, you know, this setup, this whatever the case may be, they feel like they need, which then ultimately results in them being lazy and just watching somebody have what you could have if you just put
Mm.
that effort and put that work into it. So,
And let's keep it,
and I
let's
feel
keep
like
it
it's
a
that
buck,
fear of
E.
failure. I just feel like I feel like they're more afraid of,
Hmm.
okay, maybe I don't have it. Right now,
Yeah.
these mics, these phone cameras, everything that we don't have the craziest setup. And yes, we could sit back all day long and have the fear, man, the content not gonna look as good, so ain't nobody gonna mess with us or whatever. Man, forget that. We're gonna work at it now because ultimately you put the grind in, you put the time in, you consistently just go for it. You're gonna get better and better to where this stuff can't speak for you.
Hmm.
And then you're gonna obtain newer things. You're gonna have a better quality. You're gonna be able to obtain and uphold a better way of whatever your initial setup was to the next degree. And now you're like, dang, it all started. You're gonna be able to look back and like, dang, it all started like this. Had I been afraid to really just get up and go do it, I would have never
Yes.
got to where I am now. So,
And in pursuit of the goals, the dreams, everything like that, right? It's okay to celebrate, right? It's
ooh,
okay to
small
be
victory, small
okay,
victory, small
take the
victory.
small victories, and it's okay because I think, and I want to say this so everybody can hear this, right? I want to say this. Me and E
Oh,
are not just saying this because it's like, oh yeah, hey, let's talk about fear and failure today. Let's talk. No, we're saying this because this is us.
right now,
We're saying because this is us.
right now.
We have failed after fail after fail. Door closed, door closed. Oh, door open a little
And not
bit.
only
Okay, let
no,
me wait.
this
Door
is
open.
us right
Let me peek
now.
my head in
This
there.
is our story.
Oh,
Like
okay.
y'all, they don't get it, phase. Like this is our story. Like we really are. I'm not saying we're failures because we still going, but we talking to y'all about this because even in the things that we have felt out, there are things that we are afraid to fail at now. Like, you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? We are setting these goals and these expectations for this situation now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I ain't want to cut you off, but I'm just like,
No, that's big.
that's
That's
that's for
big.
real. Like we saying this to y'all because we ain't made it yet. But I say yet because although we haven't made it, we going for it. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep pushing. But this is our story. This is our
And one thing I say there, right? There's been one thing, it sticks with me all the time. Like you just said it, and I say this to myself all the time when I'm having a conversation with somebody, when I'm doing whatever. Okay, I say, hey, yeah, I haven't made it yet, but I'm going to. But no,
speak it.
fuck that. We made it. You know what I mean? We made it. E like 390 subscribers. Yeah, we did that.
Talk that.
I'm happy because of that. You know what I mean?
We
Playing
undefeated for
football,
real.
I'm not in the NFL, but it's not about the destination, right? It's about the
About the
journey.
journey.
It's about the journey. And I
Come
look back
on.
at the journey and I damn near tear up because I know we said this million of times, but bringing my mom, the journey, like having my mom was what journey wasn't even for me, it was for her, the things that she's seen because of me, her ability to feel proud. I know she would be proud of me if I was selling crack on the corner in Chicago on 79th Street in Ada.
That's my son.
She'd
That
be
you can
proud. She'd be
go
like,
get a
that's
little,
my
but that's my
son.
baby. I'm a go ahead.
Yeah, he doing that
Ain't
good.
no
You know what I
problem.
mean? You know what I mean? She'd be happy. She'd be proud of me. But I know deep down how proud she truly is of herself because everything that she went through, all the time that she may have felt like a failure and didn't know, like, dang, am I a good mother?
Man, that's dope.
Am
That's
I a
deep.
good single mother? Like, did I fail in this? Like, like, what's going, the father's not around? Is that hurting him? Whatever it is, all those times, like, it's just a blessing because you need to be okay with celebrating the small things. Just like you
Right.
said, the small victories. Like we are there. We're not forget being there because I don't know where we're gonna take this. We're gonna take this somewhere crazy. I'm letting you look. We're gonna take this somewhere crazy.
Come on now. This one gonna
Backstage,
hurt
yeah,
them, y'all.
yes, backstage manager, put it on me. Like, look, we're gonna take this somewhere crazy. Now go back to me and Eve real quick. She quick with it. I love that. But we're gonna take this somewhere crazy, but we have to enjoy the journey, man, because this content right here is just going to keep getting better. The camera quality, everything is going to keep getting better. But if we just like, it's not good enough and just didn't do it. If I was down there like the Wi-Fi is not messing up, y'all don't know what we go through to get this like going and whatever it is. Like if we just failed and quit, like I don't know, I don't like. No, we're gonna do it. We're gonna keep doing it. We're gonna keep pushing. We're gonna keep moving forward. I don't care what it takes. Keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
On the
I got that
other,
from Rocky. I got that from Rocky.
right,
Yeah,
right.
repeat. Yeah, yeah,
On the
repeat.
other side of failure is
Yeah.
success.
Yes.
Ultimately, you can't succeed if you don't fail. Like, and that's just basically what we're trying to get,
Yes.
in y'all head today. Like, it's okay to fail. You're going to fail, but on the other side of like, if you keep failing and you keep
Ooh.
trusting in yourself, on the other side of failure is
Ooh.
success. And
Yes.
you're going to succeed. It's inevitable. The same way failure is inevitable,
Yes.
success is inevitable. But my
Let me
thing,
get you
and you
one.
you
Cool.
may
Go ahead.
only experience failure more than success, but every
Mm.
time you experience success, it's going to feel that much greater because of all the
Yes.
failure you went through, because of all the disappointment, the letdowns that you went through.
Yes.
Ultimately, and again, I love it when you hit close to home, especially when you reflect on your mom, the journey, this that, and third, because just my same situation. Like I said, for me, it was the supporters.
Hmm.
That's who I'm afraid to fail. That's who I'm afraid to let down. And for my mom, I remember having this conversation with my mom, and I was just like, "Mom, like I just don't want to let y'all down. I just don't want to disappoint y'all. I don't want to fail or whatever. Like my biggest fear is like failing, and then letting y'all down." And she was like, "Letting me down with what? How can you let me down? I'm already proud of you. The fact that you're not in jail, the fact that you're not in and out of trouble, the fact that you are succeeding in your own way. I'm already proud of you. Yes, so what? You might not be in the league, but she always, and again, this is, I'm not gonna say this is her wishful thinking for me, but she still talks to me like I'm going to the NFL tomorrow, and even if she understands that even if I don't make it, that she's still gonna support me as if I did. She's still gonna love me the same. She's still proud of me the same. So ultimately, who am I failing? Who am I letting down?
Hmm.
Myself. I didn't
Yeah.
fail myself because I'm still going. Only way I'll fail myself is if I stop going for it. If I don't chase it anymore, if I'm done today, that's the only way I can fail myself. But as long as
Hmm.
I keep pushing, I can't fail. Can't stop, won't stop.
Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to fail. Keep going. There's a father out there that their daughter is doing stuff or their son's doing not doing on the right path right now. But you gotta. Okay, it's but let me go back. Let me go back. I'm gonna keep coming. I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna keep continuing. And our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate.
Here he go. This nigga did quoted like 8 movies in this one podcast. Oh
Our
my
deepest fear is
god.
not that we're inadequate. Finish it,
Talk to
E.
him.
If you like that, finish it, E. Oh,
What?
I got him.
What he said is not that
Oh,
it's not that our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate, but that we're something beyond all measures. I know what you're trying to say though.
we gotta
I
see
know.
this, bro.
Go ahead, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I'm sorry. We have to.
Oh yeah, oh that boy got it on cue. Cue it
Oh
up.
yeah.
That
Sir,
nigga
they
got
can
a
cut the
ball.
chain off the door, but they can't make us play.
They can't make us play.
Say something.
We've decided we're gonna finish what you started, sir.
Yeah, so leave us be, coach. We got shit to do, sir.
Ah, ah.
What do you do, sir? It's crazy. What this?
Our
Say it to him.
deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
Powerful beyond measure.
Not
There.
It
our
is our
light.
light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
Hey, I've never listened to the whole
Sir, I just
scene
want to
that
say
way.
thank you.
You can pause right there. I've never like that was really deep. I've seen this movie like 1,000 times, first and
Hmm.
foremost. But that was a deep message. I've never really
It
like
was
maybe this is
deep.
just me not watching this since I
Yeah.
was a kid, but that was a deep message. And if you hear what he's saying, your continuous strive for success is contagious, basically.
Hmm.
If you are afraid to fear, you not only letting yourself down, you may be letting those around you down.
Hmm.
But if you keep going and you succeed, it's contagious. That's gonna make this person want to keep going and concede. It's gonna make the next person want to keep going and concede up and succeed. So
And
that was a dope little message.
one thing I always say, right, is the world, when you're trying to achieve something, right? When you set your mind on a goal, the world becomes your library. Right. So just like you're saying, if you're going to attack this goal with a good attitude, you knock out that fear and you just go, you take action, you go, the world is going to open up to you. People are going to look at you in a way like, okay, how can I help you get there? Or like, yeah, positively, like everything, it's like energy. The law of attraction. That's what it is. So when you put yourself in that position, well, okay, I'm just going to achieve this goal. I'm going to attack this goal. Whatever happens, happens. I'm going to go, the world is going to open itself up and it's going to help you get there. You know what I mean? It's called the red car theory, right? Have you heard the red car
Right.
theory?
It's basically like you start noticing that car where you
Exactly, exactly.
yeah.
So if I say Iman, go look for a red car, you're gonna see all the red cars. But before you wouldn't even have seen those because now you're focused on it. So if we lock in
Crazy
and
thing is
we
that happens
focus,
every time I get a car. I can't never
okay,
just have my own, and that's how you know
exactly.
it's contagious. I can't never just have my own thing, my own stuff. I got my BMW. As soon as I get my BMW, I ain't never seen this BMW on the road.
Come on.
Now I got it. Nigga, when
Now
did you
you
get
see it,
that?
everybody. Exactly. So that's life. So like when you focus on your goal, when you
Oh,
focus
I
on
like
that
that.
dream instead
You
of
focus on
focusing on that
success, you see
fear,
success. This
you see
simple.
success. Success is attracted to you. People are going to come in your life that are like, oh, you're working on, oh, now they're going to be able to help you push you forward. You know what I mean? If there's people all outside and I'm talking about football, 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 and somebody hears me talking about football, he's, oh, well, we have a conversation about football. But if I wasn't talking about football, he's not going to ask me anything about football. And that could be the guy that gets me to the next level. And that's in everything, not just football. So I think that was huge, man. And I love having this conversation. I could talk about fear and failure all day, but I think this was such an important conversation to have, such an important conversation to have live. You know what I mean? Because
We're
we're gonna
bringing
be
it to
doing a
you
lot of
now.
live stuff soon. So it's like I want people to have this conversation here. And coming from people who are failures. And I don't say failure in a negative connotation because when you hear failure, it's like, oh yeah, bad. No, I'm a failure. I'm a failure because
Facts.
I'm gonna keep failing.
And it's not. I
If
remember
if
you
if
first said
I
that.
don't
It's
care,
not
you
bad
know
to
what I
say
mean?
that.
It's not bad to say that. I'm gonna keep failing. I'm gonna probably fail tomorrow and the next day and the next day. I'm gonna keep failing
You
because
might
it only takes
win
one
and
time.
then fail again.
Exactly. We're never gonna stop failing. Failure, implement that in your life because failure equates to uncomfortability. Continue to stay uncomfortable. The people who are comfortable being uncomfortable are the people that succeed in the world because uncomfortable is the only place you can grow. You can't grow by being comfortable. You can't. You
We're
can't
gonna have
come
to have
by.
this conversation on the flip side too. Because now that we gave it to y'all from this angle of failure, we're gonna bring it to you how you can succeed and what it's gonna take to be successful. Trust and believe that conversation is coming.
Hmm.
But we wanted to just hit on a deeper, on a deeper wave on how you can fail and why it's important to fail in order to ultimately become successful. So, we want to take them to the way we stay unfazed in the day, whether that has something to do with failure or not phase. Talk to them, how you staying unfazed out here.
Yeah, I think I'm staying unfazed by more recently, man. I've been keeping God first, like more recently. And I say that because I am being completely honest more recently because there's times in my life where it's like when I am disconnected from God, I don't feel as good. When I'm connected to God in a certain way, when I'm reading my Bible, and what I've been
Mm-hmm.
actually doing is like I try to watch like a 20-minute sermon every morning. I start my day with God. So that's how I'm staying on phase. I've been starting my day with God in any type of form because when I'm connected to God, I feel a lot better. I move a lot better. I'm
Mm-hmm.
able to interact with people a lot better. You know what I mean? I feel more refreshed. God gives me energy. God gives me the passion, the motivation, and discipline. So that's one thing that I've been doing.
Like that.
And then another way I've been staying on phase is doing things that I enjoy because I've been playing piano. I've been trying to listen to music. I've been freestyling, doing all these things because those are just things that I enjoy. You know what I mean? And on this life, in this world, we could go to any goal. We could be the most successful podcast in the world. We can get to the NFL, UFL, whatever it is. But do things you enjoy, man. Try new things, learn new
Right.
things. So that's how I'm staying unfazed. E, how are you staying unfazed though? That's the real thing I want to
Man, I'm
know.
gonna keep it short, sweet, and simple for him. The way I'm staying unfazed and the way I challenge you to stay unfazed is just being consistent, putting that little
Mm,
effort in and day out. Set a goal, and then set a smaller goal on how you can get to that goal. For me, right now, whether it be getting back in the gym, it's just going, getting in the car and going to the gym, having the willpower to say, you know what, I'm just gonna go. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I get there, even though I do know what I'm gonna do when I get there. But the
hmm
biggest thing is just going. So for me, it's just staying consistent. Trying to make one good day after the next, after the next, after the next. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, ultimately, we undefeated against all bad days. And bad
hmm
days stopped you yet, y'all. So just continue to be consistent with the good
A
ones.
little
Back
bit of
them up.
something is better than a whole lot of nothing.
I like that.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. But stay on phase, man. This is the number one Moti-tainment podcast in the world. Real deal McNeal. And we got your boy Phase here. Make sure you follow, make sure you comment, make sure you like and subscribe. We're going to do a lot more live episodes. Be sure to tap in with us. We love y'all, man. I appreciate all the support thus far. We're going to be coming at you live with a lot more episodes.
Stay
Thank
tuned,
you
because
so
it's finna
much.
get crazy, crazy.
I'm unfazed, yeah.